Hey everybody, what's up? This is Ted. No Nonsense News. Friday, October 30th, 2020. Thanks for joining me. Today, Dow Jones took a big tumble, 157 points down on the day. It's only 0.5%. But if you look at it overall on the 5-day moving average, I'll click it over. It's down almost 1,500 points, which is over 5% down, right? And I'm thinking going into next week, you could probably expect more volatility. I wouldn't worry too much after the election. No matter who wins, they'll probably bump it up a little bit. I'm worried about after that point when they bump it up a little bit, really. So I'm trying to tell you guys and warn you now. If I was you, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I recommend if you want to maintain your wealth, you get it into true assets that you actually physically hold, like gold, silver, land. I'm even an advocate of cryptocurrency, but it has its downfalls as well. Because when your money is in the stock market, you're actually in dollar bills, just like what you go to work and you get. The thing about dollar bills is how the market can keep going up and up and up so much is they lose their value. Okay, and this is proof. This is like as soon as you get your check, that's the most it's ever going to be worth. When you get to the bank to cash that check, it's already lost some value from the time your boss gave it to you. When you get to Walmart to spend some of that money that you cashed from the bank, that money has already lost value. And I can prove this to you by the fact that you've probably heard old people say things about getting loaves of bread for like 25, 50 cents. Good luck getting a loaf of bread for 25, 50 cents today, right? It's not because there's any new special ingredients in the bread. It's not because it became way harder to get the bread. It's because the value with the dollar that you spend to get that bread is not worth as much as it used to be. Same thing with gold. Back in the day, in the 50s, 60s, like that, you could get it for 50, 40, 50, $60 an ounce. Go 40, 50 years in the future, you're talking thousands of dollars an ounce. That gold hasn't changed, right? It's not any different. It's the same exact ounce of gold that you bought back then, but it's more money because the fiat currency that you pay for that product is no longer has the value that it once had. And that's why you get into gold and silver, okay? And gold and silver maintain their value. So anyway, I would expect that the volatility is going to continue, and if you can, get into something like a true asset. Pick the one that you like, but get into something that's physical, honest, and true, because especially with these elections and clamping down on people with more lockdowns, more restrictions, and that's why I'm bringing this next one to you because Belgium announces a 6-week national lockdown. That's another country added to the list. Like I'm telling you guys, whether you believe in this virus or not, whether you believe it's fake, whether it's real, whether you think that the numbers warrant any type of lockdown, it looks like they might be on the horizon for us, guys. It really does. At least if not lockdowns, more restrictions. They won't call it a lockdown. They might call it a restriction, be the same thing. But I'm just going to hit these bulletin points for you real quick in this article. There's quite a few of them, and they mostly have to do with the sickness, so just bear with me. U.S. tops 9 million cases. France reports most new deaths since April 20th. Belgium announces a 6-week lockdown. Like I said, that's big. CDC unveils guidance for cruise lines. They're going to allow people to start going on cruises again. It's just going to be rules, basically probably social distancing, stuff like that. Italy suffers second straight record. New Jersey cases and hospitalizations are highest since May. Regeneron, which is working on vaccines, follows Eli Lilly and halts enrollment of seriously ill patients. Iceland tightens restrictions. See, more restrictions, lockdowns and restrictions. Sweden introduces new economic support. Czech Republic won't shut down manufacturing as the country braces for new restrictions. Global cases top 45 million. Taiwan celebrates record COVID-19 free streak. U.S. reports 89,000 new cases. UK accelerates vaccine approval. That's scary. When you cut the red tape that's there to protect you, that is really scary. Think about right now. That red tape was been in place. You've seen commercials come out and say, if you suffer from so-and-so, take this medicine and it'll help. You take this medicine and it'll help. couple years later, you hear, if you took this medicine that was supposed to take care of so and you died, or a family member, or you bled, or whatever, join this class action lawsuit. And that's with the red tape. What do we get if we take that red tape away, right? Anyway, Germany reports record jump. Japan tops 100,000. Hong Kong customs agents seize counterfeit masks. Indonesia reports most cases in 2 months. So, everywhere in them bulletin points, what do you see? All I see is restriction, lockdown, restriction, and more scare tactics, because I really don't see any numbers of deaths in there. Actually, I did see that it said France reports the most new deaths since April 20th. That doesn't give us a percentage. It just says if 3 people died and you had 4, that's more. But I would like to see the true numbers to make these decisions for myself and for you guys to see the true numbers. But anyway, all you see is restrictions, lockdowns, right? So get ready, because it's probably going to happen. At the very minimum, they'll probably tighten restrictions. And anyway, talking about the Walter Wallace case in Philadelphia, the National Guard arrived in Philadelphia after several days of unrest in the city. Now, I've already talked to you guys about how I feel that this is kind of propaganda. I went over the numbers with you. Already this year, more whites have been killed by police officers than African Americans. Why is it every time you see an African American get killed, it makes the news in the media, but you don't see any of those larger number of people getting killed? That doesn't make the news, okay? And it brings to mind that they're looting in this city. They're tearing the city to shreds over something they claim is racist. And I seen a quote today from Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm not going to say that this is the exact quote, but it's something to this effect. I'm going to mess it up. But basically, he can't wait for the day when people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by their character. Now, you ask yourself about people tearing up stores, looting, stealing from these stores that they're breaking into and damaging. What is the character of those people? If you remove whatever race they are from the equation, if I just told you the story of people doing those things, what would you judge their character to be? And I'll let you guys think about that. And we'll move it, keep it moving. Because I keep telling you guys the violence, talking about violence over that stuff, violence going on already. You got every single night I'm bringing you guys headlines of more and more cities bracing for violence. Here it is again. It's absolutely heartbreaking to watch Washington boarding up for an election. The profoundly disorienting feeling of wondering just for a second whether we live in a failed state. So I just want to point out that that is Washington, and I'm pretty sure that that is Democratic, right? So let's, another one. Shops boarded up in San Francisco ahead of anticipation of election night unrest. Once again, Democratic, right? So if the Democrats have these huge leads in the polls that we read all the time, if all the headlines are saying how big the Democratic Party's winning this thing, why are all the Democratic cities getting ready for violence? That, in my mind, doesn't really make sense. But all of this stuff I'm reading to you tonight, it's not pretty. It's not pretty stuff. And that brings me to this headline, which, with everything going on, makes plenty of sense. It's been a record year for Americans giving up citizenship. That makes sense. That totally does. People are fleeing. They see what's going on, and they're afraid. I'm going to give you guys a couple quick bullet points off of this one. Basically, it's this. So far this year, you got over 6,000 Americans have given up their citizenship, which is an increase of 234%. Last year, in the same period, was only 1,800 cases. So we've already done more than the same point of last year. Not only that, but we've also done more than all of last year, and we've broken all-time record. The record was 5,411 people who gave up their citizenship in 2016. In 2020, we're already way above that, and we still got time to go, right? And this is, some of the embassies aren't even allowing people to give up their citizenship. So that means these numbers are coming in with some of the U.S. State Department shutting down appointments at some embassies. And the craziest thing is, if you're poor, you can't run because you have to pay to give up your citizenship. You got to pay $2,350 to give up your American citizenship. So you won't see too many bums leaving. So they'll still be out in California, but if they got money, they're leaving, and they're leaving in droves, people. So take a cue from that. But I'm not leaving. I'm staying. I love this country. I want to be free, right? And I'm willing to fight. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Let's keep it peaceful. Do what we can do to keep it peaceful and keep the freedoms of this country just the way they are. Matter of fact, we need to take them back because we've already lost some, right? But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Remember, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, before I go, I'm working on a video right now for you guys. It's going to be the 5 stages of collapse. Should be out tentatively this weekend. So anyway, have a good weekend. And either way, I'll talk to you guys Monday. Stay safe. See you guys next week.